Hello, Sergeant Pepper.
Hey, what gives?
I need you back in the lab, ASAP.
I can't. I'm retired.
We've been friends for 60 years.
Okay, but if I go, I have to play by my own rules.
Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, what you gonna do? What
So, give me the details, Files.
Well, as you can see here, it's quite the shit show. That cross over there in that bush is a symbol of the Antichrist. It's spattered with blood from the victim, and we'll talk about the pattern later that is left on the ground. Also, the blood on the creatures around this pentagram are going to be swabbed and run for testing back at the lab. Underneath the cross is the footprint from the perceived suspect. And from the looks of it, it's a clean print I'll be able to analyze back at the lab after the geeks make a casting impression. The purse next to where the victim lay has been dusted for print by the CSI lab geeks, and they were able to pull a print from it with use of charcoal powder. There also seems to be a note left at the scene over there, but since I'm no expert, I called in my friend from California, and he'll email me his findings later. The drugs have been collected that have been found inside the purse and have been taken to the tox lab. All evidence has been put under a chain of custody, so don't you worry about losing it.
This looks deadly. Sergeant Pepper, NYPD. It's so nice of you to visit me. I just had a few questions. Like, did you murder your sister?
I'm kidding. Murderer says what? What? I knew it! Wait, I didn't kill my sister, if that's what you're insinuating.
Oh, I'm not. I'm just kidding again.
Oh, okay. I'm truly very sad about my sister's passing. She was such an inspiration to me. She was so good at cooking. I guess that's why she was called Cook.
And you're ham.
What?
Cook and ham?
Yeah.
Never mind. So, where were you yesterday?
Oh, I was cooking for my cat Sparkles.
Your cat?
Yeah.
Hold on, I got a call. Okay. Sorry to cut this short. I gotta go. Have a nice murderless day.
Starting at the toxicology lab, the evidence, as you can see here, was collected in a sealed plastic bag. Samples were taken and analyzed through a screening test that can check for a wide range of drugs and poisons. The drugs found in the purse were methamphetamines, otherwise known as speed. Complicated mixtures as such can be broken down and detected using a technique called chromatography. The blood found at the crime scene matched our suspect, but we'll cover that in a bit. The different parts of the chemical composition of the drug travels at varying speeds through a liquid column and emerge at different times, shown as peaks on a moving strip. The chart is then compared with other reference charts, and the height of each peak shows the amount of each particular substance in the sample at the time of the crime scene. Samples of the blood were collected on moistened swabs and placed in sealed containers and run through our database. A match appeared with the suspect, who had previously been arrested for a DUI and had his blood and saliva samples taken and stored in the database. I ran the blood that was collected from suspect Cook, taken when he was in custody, just to be sure that the samples matched those of the crime scene. Those samples were put into a heat injection port, where it is vaporized and carried on a stream of gas through a column. Lo and behold, all 3 blood samples had perfect matches. The blood stain pattern found on the cross was a transfer swipe, as the suspect was thought to have cut herself on the spike of the cross and tried to swipe her finger on the cross to rid of the bleeding. As it continued to bleed, The suspect moved and tried to shake her hand where she was cut, creating the drip spatter under the cross. The drips maintained their circular shape, having an angle of impact close to 90 degrees, due to the straightforward pattern. The body was moving slightly to the right during the time of impact because of the less dense patterns to the right.
Well, how did you know that the blood samples found at the crime scene matched the one collected from the suspect in custody?
Well, we conduct a test called RH typing. We mix some of the blood found at the crime scene with antibodies against the RH factor. Signs of any reaction will be noted and used to determine blood type.
Oh, thanks, buddy.
Boop, boop, boop. Ding! I've just received a message from Dr. Kale about that question document. Let's take a look. The document presented a clear indication of the individual in alarm due to all of the letters being capitalized. Possibly a person who's calling for attention or has trouble focusing for long periods of time. The closeness between the sentences in the paragraph are indicative of a person with jumbled thoughts or confusion. Also, he notes that the letters get darker towards the end of the word, a characteristic of one who loses their temper very easily. Very appropriate for a murderer. I will now use gel electrophoresis to sort and see the DNA. So the gel electrophoresis pushes the DNA strands through the filter and adds an electrical current. We know that DNA has a negative charge, so the DNA will move towards the positive charge at the end of the gel to separate. There are tiny holes in the gel, so when DNA fragments move through it, only the smallest will go all the way. We extracted the DNA from the fingerprint. Since no two fingerprints are the same, we were able to compare the DNA fragments from the fingerprint collected from the scene and run it against our database. And the prints taken from the suspect in custody and the DNA was eerily familiar by the similarities in the ridge characteristics. Both the suspects and the prints found at the crime scene had a distinct island on the top left of the print of the right index finger. But what was even more fascinating was the DNA identicality with that of the corpse, which is only present in identical twins.
Do we know the time of death?
The body died around 12 hours ago. I can tell this because the body is at peak rigor, or stiffness, and the purple color from livor mortis has disappeared.
Oh, I see now. What do we know from that footprint?
From the photographs taken at the crime scene with the measuring scale, I was able to use a gelatin lifter that lifted the shoe print similar to the fingerprint lifting tape. The investigators collected sample shoes from the suspect's house, and we ran them against this impression found at the crime scene and the shoe database to find identical sole patterns and wear marks. We were able to find the exact shoe that created the impression found at the crime scene from the suspect's possession.
NYPD! Drop your weapon! What? I'm just cutting out this pig! You're under arrest for the murder of Cook! I didn't even do it, you don't understand! You just assaulted an officer! You dirty pig! You don't understand! The only reason why I killed her was because I wanted her last name! I'm kosher, don't you understand? I can't be a ham! You have the right to remain silent. Anything you do or say will be used in a court of law. If you do not have a lawyer, one will be appointed to you. Do you understand your rights at this time? Yes! So, after 60 years of working with you, Dr. Files, I've been meaning to ask you, what is your first name?
Forensics.
Cut!
Damn it!
You're under arrest for the murder of your twin sister. I didn't kill her! I didn't do it! Get away from me! I didn't do it! I just wanted to be Cook, not him! You don't understand! Well, now I'll understand after you suffer hard.
I'm kidding. Murderer says what? What? I knew it! Wait, I didn't kill my sister, if that's what you're insinuating.
Oh, I'm not. I'm just kidding again.
Oh. Okay. I'm truly very sad. Sorry. Take away.
Hello, coming live from the
Wait, what is it?
from the crime scene. We got this. Ooh, I've been married long time ago. Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from, Cotton Eye Joe? Where did you come from? Where did you go? I've been married long time ago. Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you go? Cotton Eye Joe.